Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Aley Hammer, and today we're joined with Peter from Instaclustr. Peter, thanks so much for joining me today. Can you start by telling our audience a little bit about what Instaclustr does and how you got started with the business back in 2013?
Sure, Aley. Thanks very much for having me on. Happy to talk about Instaclustr. Instaclustr manages open source data infrastructure for customers so that really they can get on with the business of building and scaling their applications in the public or private cloud. And it's really through our SaaS platform that makes it easy to provision, scale, operate, really very powerful open source technologies. And our customers get the full benefits of the flexibility, agility, cost savings that really come from deploying open source data infrastructure. And we combine that with the support of really very deep and committed open source DevOps experts. And so our customers pay for that platform on a classic cloud consumption model. Thinking back when we started in 2013, when we founded as four co-founders in Canberra, we were working on something completely different. Our idea was to connect data holders with subscribers via a marketplace and enable those data holders really monetize their assets to those subscribers. And being advocates for open source back then when we founded the company, and being a startup, the last thing that we really wanted to do was pay licensing costs or get kind of trapped into a proprietary features of commercial data infrastructure software. So we really set about identifying the best open source technology that was really going to fit our use case. And back then, the technology that we selected was one called Apache Cassandra. It's a really extremely powerful open source database. It really fitted our use case perfectly. But the only thing was, being a startup with limited resources back then, the last thing that we really wanted to do was have to devote time, energy, resources, and money to making that work for our particular use case. We didn't want to deploy it ourselves. We wanted to go and use it in the cloud. And we looked out in the cloud. We engaged with the community, and nobody was doing it. So we had to do the hard yards and really set about building it ourselves. And being, an agile kind of startup in the days of 2013, and given that other people were saying, gee, it would be really great if someone was doing that, we thought we'd share that MVP that we built. So we put a credit card billing engine on it, made it available to the public, and that was really the day that Instaclustr was born. We were born global. We had customers signing up straight away on it from all over the world. In fact, it was several years before we even signed a customer in Australia.
Wow, what an inspirational story. And you guys have experienced significant growth during the height of the pandemic in 2020. So can you tell our audience a little bit more about what actually drove that growth, and how do you plan to accelerate over the next kind of 12 to 18 months?
Oh, for sure. The first thing is we really feel very grateful to be in the business we're in, and really lucky that we were able to grow solidly through a global pandemic. And I know other businesses out there, have not been so fortunate, particularly if they've been in exposed markets and sectors. And, my heart goes out to all of those businesses that have really had to, struggle through COVID and are finding it tough under the weight of all these lockdowns. And, hopefully with vaccinations, that's, we're on the verge of turning that corner and things are just going to get better and better. But, I think some of the things and the properties of our business and the way that we've operated as cloud business really, are the fundamental parts to that success. We're in a market where we work with, customers that are deploying massive distributed applications in public and private clouds. And, we operate in that market, with what I would call always on applications. And where in a lot of cases, the application is the entire business for our customers. It is all that they do, and the success of that application is paramount for them. Some of our customers, because of that, experience huge growth. So if they were in online payments, or they were in food delivery, online gaming, or telcos, they grew enormously through the pandemic because of the nature of how people had to consume services. Whereas other sectors, if they were in travel or traditional retail, they were really, really negatively impacted. And we saw ups and downs across our customers. Some customers really succeeding, and other customers having to be very modest about how they were approaching their use of our platform and solutions. But through all of that, the important thing for us was we really stuck to our knitting of offering an incredible and exceptional customer experience, combined with the deep expertise in our platform. And our customers love to partner with us, and we love working with them, and we love seeing them succeed. It's really important part for our growth as a business. And if you combine kind of that experience with the incredible reach and flexibility of cloud, and the growth in key sectors, the drive to outsource complex operations, the drive towards open source software, and the general growth in data, all of these things really sit behind the Instaclustr business and really were the secrets to our success during the pandemic. And over the next 12 months, I think what our customers will expect to see from us are additional technologies introduced onto our platform. We're constantly innovating and evolving that solution for our customers. There'll be enhanced integrations, new platform features, and it's all aimed at really enriching that experience and making adoption of those open source data infrastructure, software, and technologies even easier for customers. And we think that enterprises now more than ever are really looking to modernize their applications. They're looking to reduce costs in a COVID normal world. And I think with open source now in the mainstream, our future at Instaclustr is really bright.
Instaclustr has always been a big supporter of software engineering skills in Australia. And recently you guys announced a partnership with the University of Canberra for open source software training, but also certification, research and development. So this is huge. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about the goals, for this partnership going forward?
Yeah, for sure, Aley. I mean, first thing is we're really proud of the partnership that we've developed with the University of Canberra around open source training. And I think it comes a lot from where we've come from as a business. Back when we founded, there was next to no Apache Cassandra expertise in Australia. And yet here we were founding a business that was taking that to the world. We always had an approach that we had to support the development of our team. And really, because there was no expertise available in the market, we had to build our own open source experts. But I think in a world where open source is becoming mainstream and increasing rates of adoption, it's not really going to scale when there's an ever increasing demand on what is really a limited pool of expertise, particularly in this part of the world, but even seeing it more globally. I mean, if we combine what we're really good at, which is open source technologies for the development of fantastic content and technical people to deliver that fantastic content, with a leading young university like the University of Canberra, who really, they're the experts at education training and delivery. It's a really powerful combination. And I think about three things when I think about why we're doing it and what we're doing with the university. And I think the first for us is it's about being a great community citizen, contributing to the development of open source expertise in Australia. And as we develop our partnership with the university, being able to deliver that on a global scale and create open source literacy and expertise around the world. I think secondly, and this is for people that want to access this type of training, that education and learning to technical people, it leads to familiarity and a real level of comfort with use of open source technology. And where you get that familiarity and comfort, that really drives adoption levels, and that's great. You want to see it open source, eating the world. And I think the third point to that is, as the level of expertise increases across the community, that has downstream benefits for us as well. I mean, that creates, people that are experts in open source technology, confident in using that technology, and that's the kind of talent that we need to bring into our business that's going to help us grow. And I think just to finish that off, if you can combine that content and that training delivery with a program that formally certifies people in open source technology with a recognized kind of academic set of skills and qualifications, that really widens industry acceptance of what we're trying to do through that partnership with the university. I think that's fantastic, because that then leads on to more expertise, thought leadership in supporting research development over open source technologies, and the whole industry around open source, from which really Instaclustr has benefited. So, I couldn't be more excited about what we're doing with the university.
Honestly, the partnership is something you should be so proud of, and the University of Canberra is such an amazing way to have a huge impact. So yeah, I'm excited too. It should be something you're very proud of. Peter, moving on from this a little bit, Instaclustr recently acquired Creditive. So how will this improve your ability to serve your customers?
Oh, look, the Creditive acquisition for us was a really strategic one for our business. And it was our first experience with acquisition. I've been on the sell side of a transaction, but never on the buy side. And to be honest, I never really appreciated what it'd be like buying another company with a central presence in Germany and another presence in the USA in the middle of a pandemic from Australia. But really, the two teams, Creditive and Instaclustr, were really incredible and unwavering in their commitment to overcome some of those hurdles and doing a transaction when there's absolutely no possibility of meeting face to face. We had to work via video conferencing and really get the job done, and it was an amazing experience. But Creditive to us, are really very deep experts in Postgres and some other really relevant open source technologies that we're interested in. They have a really fierce reputation and a passion for open source technology, and that fitted really well with our view and culture on open source. But I think the interesting thing was for their business is that they were experiencing, some of the limitations of available expertise, and that was impacting on their ability to grow and scale their business. And they were at a point in time where they were giving thought to how to technology enable their services through development of a platform solution. Well, then along comes Instaclustr. Our customers love the experience on our platform. They're always asking us to do more. Postgres was one of those technologies that comes up a lot. It's a huge market, and even better, it's disrupting the Oracle market, which, we love open source disruption. It's what we're all about. And the timing was really perfect. With their expertise, we could accelerate the development of that solution on our platform. We gained the ability to service each other's customers on a global scale, combining really our strong technical and development center in Canberra with a deep technical team in Central Europe. And by bringing their US team with our team, we also gained significant technical presence and scale in North America. And so really for our customers, it means now they've got access to deep open source expertise combined with our platform in every region of the world. And that just means a fantastic experience for them.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a very strategic and also beneficial acquisition for not just your business, as you said, but your customers too. Finally, Peter, to round off this interview, Instaclustr has had global success, and your customers, as you mentioned, come from all around the world, but yet you guys still maintain your core engineering based out of little Canberra. So what's the secret to operate in this way? It's pretty amazing.
For sure. Props to Canberra. We love it here. But there's no doubt that public cloud has really transformed the way Australian technology companies can operate. I can think back, not that long ago, maybe 15 years or so, if I was building a technology company or a software company in Australia, I'd have been shipping software to other markets around the world, probably using resellers and distribution networks to do that. I think the public cloud services have really given us the reach that we need to tackle just about any market anywhere and really directly to the customer. We built our business for cloud from day one, so we call ourselves entirely cloud native. We don't have a single server, application or service that's not public cloud based in our business, which is incredible when you think about the times of COVID and the pandemic. Our ability to be able to shift our operations was almost instantaneous, and that gives you incredible competitive advantage as an operating company. But we still do all our development in Canberra. We also have the core of our customer support organisation in Canberra, but our platform actually sits in AWS North Virginia, and it services customer deployments everywhere and anywhere that there is an AWS data center. It's quite incredible the kind of reach that we get from being able to do that and do that from Canberra. And in essence, because for highly performant and scalable cloud applications, our customers, they want their application and data close to where their customers are. So in a business like ours, if we want our customers to be successful with their applications, we have to be able to service them everywhere and anywhere around the world. And the public cloud is the only way that makes sense to do that.
Well, I love that you've been a cloud native business since day one and that you don't have a single server. That's what we love to hear. And, all your applications and services are all cloud-based. That's amazing. So Peter, it's been such a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much for coming on AWS Community Chats. And to all our viewers at home, if you have any questions, please pop them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aley. Bye.